Hi, so tonight I'm going to show you how, when your wine's finished, so this wine here, it's had the finings in, it's had the stabiliser in, it's had the finings in. You may or may not need to use stabiliser if you're doing it like, you know, one from a juice, but, you know, it's up to you in that process. But anyway, it's had the stabiliser in, it's had the finings in. Now, I always transfer it to a barrel and then I go from barrel to bottle. The reason being is it's damn hard putting this bit in the bottle and not getting any all over your floor, especially if it's red wine. You know, you don't want that. Now the good thing about this kit, let me show you. So this goes in to your barrel. Oh bugger, and I didn't get rid of all the water. So this goes into your barrel, into your bucket, like so. You keep it nice and straight. I don't know if that shows up on there, so let me show you a bit better. So you keep it nice and straight, like so. And then what you're going to do, once it's nice and straight, is you've got to have your barrel lower than your bucket. So, oops. So let's see. So there's the bucket, obviously. There's the barrel. It's got to be lower, because that moment you start sucking the wine, you suck it through here, and then you put that into the top of the barrel. Rightio. Now on this pipe, it's come with a tap, an on and off tap, which is fantastic. I would still put it into a barrel first, because from a barrel you can put it into bottles, close the tap, open the tap. You know, it's a much easier way to get it in the bottle, and then it makes this process one quick, you know, process. Right, that's ready for sucking. So take the lid off. Oh, it smells gorgeous. Right, get the lid. You're not really bothered about the lid now, so put the lid somewhere where you're not worried about if it makes a mess. Like so. Right, so now I'm putting this in all the way down to the bottom of the barrel, bucket rather. I'm going to suck on this, and you're going to see the red wine come up very quickly. So suck on it, and there we go. Simple as that. You have now got to wait a few minutes, because as you can imagine, that's 20 odd litres of wine, and it's going to take a few minutes to drain into the bucket. Try and keep, obviously don't kink your pipe as you're draining it, because otherwise it's going to stop, and then you've got to faff about blowing the wine back in to suck it to blow it back out again. So just keep your eye on it, make sure it's actually going in. And I cannot move the camera at this moment in time, otherwise it'll stop it from going. And all of a sudden, I don't know if you can actually see it on there, but it's starting to go down. The ridge where it was, it's already starting to go down a bit. It's going to take 5-10 minutes. You know, make sure that when you suck it in the first place, you go as much as you can. I mean, you might even drink some of it as you're sucking it, but anyway, get it and then put it into your top of your barrel. You can get bits that you stick on the side, like plastic clips that you stick on the side that hold this in place. I lost mine, so if you're buying a new kit for the first time, it's well worth having that. Now, you know, there's nothing else to talk about really until you get to the bottom, because I haven't, what they call it, racking off. you brew the wine, and then you can transfer it from one bucket to another bucket, and to get rid of half the sediment. I haven't done that this time. So when you get to the bottom, there's going to be quite a bit of sediment, and it's like, you know, the leftovers of the yeast that's gone down, and you know, all the bits that you're not really wanting to drink. It won't do you any harm, but it just won't be clear. So when you get to the bottom, you want to, and me, I haven't already done it because I'm rushing tonight. You're going to want to clear some room because at the bottom you're going to want to tip the bucket so that you get as much out of the wine as possible, because you don't want to lose a litre of wine or 2 litres of wine because you haven't done it that way. And then as it gets closer and closer and closer, you'll see the sediment start to appear around it. And it's a shame my lad's not here to hold the camera for me, but there you go. So already, and also by doing it this way, it gets rid of some of the gases as well, because you do get gases with wine. You'll read that in the instructions about some of the gases you can get. So, like I say, make sure that you don't kink that pipe there, otherwise you'll be stood there for an hour. And I don't know if it's showing up on there. It's gone down about 2 inches now, so a few more minutes. Yes, it's a long, you know, this is a bit of a process. But remember, it's the stuff in there that you're going to be drinking at some stage. Like anything, you know, when it goes into the barrel, you can, for me, you can either bottle it up straight away, or you can actually leave it in the barrel. If you're going to leave it in the barrel, get yourself some petroleum jelly or Vaseline, you know, obviously not the, you know, not the flavoured stuff. Get some of that, and you rub that around the neck of the barrel. And then you close it down, you'll tighten it, close it down. What that does, it gives you a good seal, stops any, you know, anything getting into your wine. And because wine isn't fizzy, it's not going to explode on you, because I've had a barrel where I brewed cherry wine and brewed it in the barrel, and brewed it normally, then put it in the barrel, put a bit too much sugar in for secondary fermentation, and the plastic barrel expanded. And why Ferment works as your barrel's hissing away, and it you know, it's expanded. It's, you know, it's like 10% bigger than the other one. I'm saying, bloody hell! Unscrew the lid straight away, and she did. And luckily, I was able to take out some of the air, and that was fantastically strong cherry wine, cherry beer that was. Yeah, £25 a kit, and you only get about 12 or 14 pints or something, but damn nice stuff. So now we're about a third of the way down. This is the boring bit. And what you're going to want to do after this, you're going to have actually want, you know, after you put your wine into there, you're going to want to wash your fermentation bucket out. I'll do another video on that. I've done one on the washing out the barrel, ready for, you know, put your stuff in. But we'll do the same with the. We'll do a video for this as well, just for you people who have never done it before, because you go on the internet and sometimes instructions are rubbish, you know. And I hope these instructions are clear, if anybody ever gets to see these instructions, because of YouTube and you know, getting hits and things like that. Oh, after a long day at work, I want a drink. We're getting close to halfway down now, so we're not far off. It's just a shame that I can't get the camera any closer. And obviously you're going to want to sterilise, going to want to sterilise everything again after you've done, always sterilise it, wash it out, and then the next time you come to it, if it's months, you're going to have to wash it and sterilise it all again. If you brew regular, and you're brewing one after another, once you've sterilised it, washed it and sterilised it that time, you're straight on for another brew. Now the only thing I will say, if you brew, this is a 30 litre bucket, fermentation bucket. Make sure they're the ones you buy. Don't buy something like a 25 litre, because if you brew 23 litres of wine, you need the space for the air and the, what they call the stuff that comes on the top, with the yeast. That will bubble up, and you'll have it all bubbling out the airlock. And even but also, oh, has it gone off? No, it's still good. Also, a little tip. Say like me, you get a bit overzealous and you think, well, I don't want 23 litres, I want 24, 25. Just remember that your barrel can only hold so much, because otherwise you'll get to the top of the barrel and all of a sudden you've still got a load in there and you're at the top. So then you can either use a tap, you can either turn the tap off for a minute and put it into a bottle, or you lose some of it. So we're just over halfway now. How many minutes have I been doing this now? 12 minutes, wow. I think it was going slow for a second because it kinked on me. So, making sure that you haven't got a kink in this pipe is massive, because you'll study like an idiot holding this, the pipe and that. It's going down a lot faster now, so it won't keep you too much longer. I'm ready for a taste of this as well. This is Carafe 21. Classic full red. Yeah, it's definitely got a full red to it. Shall give it my trial later. Like all wines and all beers, you should really give them a bit of time to mature. I did a rhubarb wine and a ginger wine. The rhubarb wine, when I first did it, it was cloudy as they come. Put the finings in and it's still a little bit cloudy. Over a period of a few months of it aging, it went to basically a white wine. I thought it was going to be a rosé, but it ended up being a white wine, and it ended up being a very nice white wine. And all I did was use rhubarb. Followed something on the internet, guide on the internet, where you boil the rhubarb and you chop it into little bits. Obviously you wash it first. You boil the rhubarb in a pan, and you use a masher to mash it down. So obviously it gets the flavour out. Oh, was it that bad? Yes, and then you put it into the bucket, and you put sugar all over. And what that does, the sugar soaks into the rhubarb to even more bring out the flavour. And then you fill it up hot and cold water, 23 litres. And then I left it for a few weeks to ferment. And after a couple of weeks I took out the rhubarb, because I didn't want it going off. Took out the rhubarb, and it turned out to be a very nice bottle of wine. So we're down to about 6 litres left now. And at the moment I'm not tipping it up. And luckily I can see it in my little view thing over there, that you can see it, so that's good. Yes, this is a boring process. a necessary process. So, you know, the clip will hold it better, but you still might have to hold the top. So, you know, it's just one of them things. It's got a lovely smell to it. Lovely dark colour. Now, if you do a wine or beer, and you put your nose in and it smells god awful, then check it out first. Drain it into a barrel. Crank open the barrel a little bit. Have a taste. If it really is vile, then it may have gone off. You know, I've had no wines go off. I've had one beer kit go off in all the kits I've done, which I think now, wow, I've done about 60 kits. Don't go overboard for the secondary fermentation when you do beers. Don't put too much sugar in, because I've done that. And if you're using a glass bottle, it might blow the lid off the bottle or even blow the glass apart. If you're using a plastic bottle, the plastic will expand. You know, if it gets to the stage where if you've got them where you can see them and they're expanding too much, then open that bottle up. But always be careful when you open the bottle, because you know, obviously it's going to froth up like a swine. So always stand near a sink. Right, we're on about 3 litres left now. I'm ready for falling asleep. Now when I look in, I can see some of the bits that were floating around the top. So obviously we don't want that going into the wine. I mean, it will probably just settle down to the bottom of the wine anyway, bottom of the barrel. So it's not a biggie, you know. I'm also watching the barrel because it's rising up. Luckily with these plastic barrels you can, and it's obviously red wine anyway, you can see through the barrel. So just be mindful of that when you're transferring. So you know, you've got to have your eyes on 2 places at the same time. I know that I got a bit close. I put a bit more water in there when I did the kit. I mean, really, you should always stick to the instructions. Sometimes I put an extra ½ kilo of sugar in, just to try and get a bit more strength out of it. Right, we're not far off the stage now where I've got to tip the bucket towards me. Yes, I can see where the sediment is now. So holding this, keeping it right at the bottom, the pipe inside, and then tip it towards you a little bit. And then you can see inside, you can see the clear wine, but you can also see the sediment. Keeping an eye on your barrel as well. And it's not far off now. Oh, I've got a cramp in my arm. Right. So I'm watching that, and when you do it, you'll be able to see the sediment. I'm going to show you the sediment in a minute. It's about halfway across now, so we're very close to the end. Like anything, you don't want, I mean, if sediment does get in, don't worry about it, but you really want as little of the sediment, and you know, any with some wine kits you'll put oak chips in, and or if you experiment, so you want as little of that sort of stuff getting in as possible. Right, I'm actually putting it back the other way now, so
Daddy?
1 minute. And there we have it. That's it. A little bit of sediment got through. So, right here. So there's your sediment in the bottom. Look at that. That's the stuff you don't want. You can tell the difference between red wine and the sediment. And there's the wine in the barrel. I'm now going to put some Vaseline round. Obviously, make sure your hands are clean before you do these jobs. Alright, let me just do this. Quickly grease around the neck. Just to give you the seal, don't get it on the inside. Put your lid on. And there we are. All done. And that's it. Thanks for watching.